Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and earlier this week I talked about Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas on my podcast. It was a very fun episode. If you haven't watched it yet, I encourage you to go check it out. If you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, then please subscribe and check out our podcast every Monday. So yes, after I reviewed the theatrical release of Nightmare Before Christmas, a fan named Tyler Yost sent me a Workprint version of the film. For those of you who don't know, a Workprint is like a rough cut of a film, often put together as the film is like still being made or nearing completion. This is the first time I've ever done one of these for an animated film, and it was very, very different than what I'm used to. Usually I like to credit or link to a source that does like a definitive, like complete breakdown of these work prints. I couldn't find that. I've seen a lot of work print comparison videos for this film, but I couldn't find a definitive list of every single change. So if you know if that's out there, let me know so I can link it below. But I personally was not able to find a complete breakdown. I say that because I'm not going to go through every single change. I will let you know that a lot of the work print is told through storyboards. Obviously, this was an animated film that took like 2-3 years to finish, so they couldn't get all the animation done on time, but I guess they still needed to figure out an edit to get an idea of what the movie looked like. So a lot of it is storyboards. Some stuff is missing. I'm not going to dwell on every single thing that's different in this work print. I'll point out stuff like actors having a fill-in voice or temp music or unfinished effects when I find it interesting or funny. The film opens up with storyboards of calendar pages flipping and highlighting all the big holidays. This is very different than the actual opening of the film, which was the circle of trees with every single holiday logo on them. In the theatrical cut, we get a few credits, the title, the intro, and then we go right into the song. This work print shows that we would have actually gone into the title sequence after the opening narration and before the "This Is Halloween" song. I'm glad they made this change. The opening narration right into the first song works so well in the theatrical cut. If you would have shoehorned a title sequence in between there, I don't think it would have worked as well. Speaking of This Is Halloween, none of the hand-drawn animations are done yet, so seeing these scenes without the ghost is actually pretty funny. Also, Oogie's shadow on the moon has a completely different voice than the final product. I don't know if it's the same actor, but if it is, he clearly didn't settle on a voice yet.
I am the shadow on the moon,
filling your dreams to the brim
with light. This is Halloween.
Jack's big reveal is also told through storyboards. This makes sense. They were probably still editing the sequence, and again, none of the hand-drawn stuff was done. So even if it was edited, it wouldn't have had the fire effect, which makes it so effective. As with a lot of these work print videos, there's a lot of temp tracks in them, music from other films to just kind of set the scene until the actual score is done. I think I caught a few cues from Batman Returns and Beetlejuice in it. But in this scene where Sally's making a basket, I'm pretty sure this is one of the musical cues from the Addams Family movie from 1991. This part took me by surprise. Apparently it's on one of the DVD special features, but I've never seen it. The monster under your stairs and the guy with the axe in his head, they both have their own section of the Making Christmas song that got cut out. I assume it was never even animated. But it's pretty funny. I didn't expect the monster under the stairs to sing like that.
Inside each box a mystery, a million ways to fill this thing, and when I think I've done the best.
And I definitely didn't expect the guy with the axe in his head to have such a beautiful voice.
But each one's prettier than the next.
I'm glad they changed this next bit. In the work print, when Sally sabotages Jack's plans by making fog and then Zero's nose glows and they realize the day is saved, I guess they thought it wasn't obvious what they were referencing. So they actually have a scene where Jack opens up a book and reads the Rudolph song.
Zero, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
I'm glad they cut this. We get it. If you're watching this movie, you kind of get the Christmas, like, lore and songs and whatnot. I don't think we need it spelled out to us. It doesn't really show confidence in your audience's knowledge. So I'm glad they cut it. Okay, one of the big issues we had in our review is with Oogie Boogie. Not so much his character, but the fact that he's kind of weirdly placed in the film. This Workprint shows that it would have been even worse. If you thought physically showing up halfway through the film was a little too late for a bad guy in a children's movie, how about him showing up pretty much near the end? We don't get the Oogie Boogie song and introduction until after Jack is delivering presents, like right before he gets shot down out of the sky. Then immediately when the song's done, we get Oogie being distracted by Sally and then him taking Sally and Santa prisoner. Then there's another scene of Oogie's boys like getting an elevator to watch what's going on. I guess it was to explain where they were during the whole final confrontation, but don't think we needed it. Glad they cut it. This was an odd one to me. When Jack comes back from Earth to Halloween Town, he sees that there's already a tombstone up for him. But like 2 seconds ago, the mayor was announcing that he had just died. So they built that pretty damn quick.
Hey, the guy's been destroyed.
So earlier in the Workprint, it shows the storyboards for the scene where Jack scares Oogie's boys when they're fighting with each other. He has a different face than the final product. In the Workprint, during the final showdown, Jack uses a scary face to scare Oogie for like a second. I guess they decided they didn't need this scene, but they liked the look of that face so much that they used that face and that storyboard and put it into the earlier scene for the final theatrical cut. And then finally, in this version, Oogie like vomits up his bugs to chase Jack. And then like Sally and Santa are like dodging death traps. Eventually, they come up with a plan to dress up a different skeleton and put it in an Iron Maiden. Which, by the way, we did Batman Returns and Sleepy Hollow this year. Tim Burton really has a thing for Iron Maidens. Anyway, our heroes trick all the bugs to go into the Iron Maiden, and they lock it up. And Boogie has one last bug he could throw at them, and Santa takes it out like that. And then Oogie dies. Now, we talked about in the podcast, originally it was going to be revealed that Oogie was Dr. Finkelstein. I'm guessing they dropped that idea before they went into production. So yeah, this is just an alternate version of how Oogie died. I'm guessing they looked at the storyboards, realized it wasn't very interesting, or maybe the bugs would have just been too hard to animate, so then they rewrote the scene. And that is the Nightmare Before Christmas Workprint cut. More interesting than I thought it would be. I'd have to check out more of these animated Workprints and see how different they actually are. I know a lot of them rely on storyboards, so that's a little unique compared to when I do a live action movie and it just says like scene missing. But yes, if you like this film, please check out my playlist where I talk about other Workprints and TV cuts of films. I think you would enjoy it. And again, if you're new here, please subscribe. We have a new podcast episode out every Monday, and sometimes we do live episodes on Thursdays. And I think you'd really, really enjoy it. If you become a super fan, please consider becoming a YouTube channel member. If you want to go even further and get more perks, make the jump over to Patreon. We got commentary tracks, bonus videos, live stream access. You could actually be on an episode. So check all that out, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.